Here's what's going to happen, William. Here's what's going to happen, okay? Um, for those of you watching, I need you guys to stick around to the end of the show. I'm going to give every single person in here who watches and comments a chance to win a prize at the end of the show. Doesn't matter if you're a member, a subscriber, if you just happen to stumble across us, everyone has an equal opportunity to win something. I'll explain that at the end. But Will, it's game day. It is a must. I don't want to say must win as in the season's over, but I want to make a statement. All right. We're just coming off a statement game from the Chicago Bears. Beat the Baltimore Ravens. You make an even bigger statement. And I want that more than anything. Game day show. We're going to get into everything. Sit back, relax, hide from your boss, hide from your wife, hide from your kids, hide from your husband. Sit back, watch a show. We're going to put on a good one today. Hammer that subscribe button. Will, how you feeling going into this Baltimore Ravens game?
Steve, I feel great. And part of me feeling great is the fact that I don't have to look at Calvinoy. And they're to me, Calvinoy is like their Swiss Army knife. And then you're talking about I ain't got to look at Metabuke either. Listen, that's all I needed to see, Steve. That's enough right there for me to be happy. The fullback and the tight end, yeah, whatever. Like that's cool, but
key pieces.
You're telling me that I ain't got to look at those two. It's a good day for me, Steve. So, I don't want to get into too much, but does that make you feel good?
Ravens, I'll share my thoughts at the end for my score prediction. It's gonna kind of go hand in hand to that. But yeah, just looking at the Ravens injury chart here, they're missing their two best pass rushers. They're missing a fullback who's kind of their Patrick Ricard. He's their short yardage guy. They use him in a lot of different ways. Nate Wiggins playing but banged up. Isaiah Likely, again, another weapon for Lamar Jackson. I'm sure we'll mention his name once or twice, but just comparing injury problems here. Marcus Davenport, no news there, out. Everyone else listed as questionable, so we should be all hands on deck here for this Monday night game. So I think the Ravens are the bit more of the banged up team, something we're not really used to compared to what we saw last year, where usually we're on the other side of the spectrum. So I think that the Ravens are banged up. Lions chance to capitalize. That's the injury report. Will, anything else about the injuries?
No, that's it, man. I'm excited to finally be on that, like you said, on the good end of the stick, rather than the team that's decimated with injuries, trying to put band-aids on everything. So we'll see how that goes.
Here's what we're up against, Will. Here's the offense and defensive rankings for both teams. Top 5 offenses. This has the makings to be a shootout, has the makings to be a high scoring game. Scoring points, 1 versus 3, total offense, 11 versus 5. Like, this is 2 offensive powerhouse teams. They're mostly geared toward Lamar Jackson. That's going to be the story of the day. Well, I think that's where the Baltimore Ravens have the biggest advantage on us, is they probably have the most athletic and the best player on the football field at all times. Is probably Lamar Jackson. I hate to say it. I don't know if your son's running around right now wearing his Lamar Jackson jersey. If he is, might be RKO time for him. Hit some wrestling moves on him when mom's not looking, because it's game day, Will. So how do we go about containing Lamar Jackson?
That's easy, Steve. You don't.
Easy. Okay. All right.
You don't. You don't contain Lamar Jackson. You game plan for him. You understand that guy is going to make plays because he's special, and you deal with it. You deal with that. So you try to minimize the amount of big plays that he makes, but at some point he's going to make some things happen, because that's what he does, man. So that's the best answer I got for you. You try to minimize the bleeding so you don't bleed out, but plays are going to get made. Are you with me, or you think that I'm giving him a little bit too much credit there?
No, he's a former MVP. He's one of the best players in football. He deserves all the credit. But I do like the word contain. I think if we can contain, don't let him go off and throw for 400 passing yards and rush for another 175. Don't let him get loose in both areas of the game. Try to contain that to timely times when he has to use his legs, if that makes any sense, because he's going to make plays. He's going to pick up first downs. It's going to be a 3rd and 7, and he's going to scramble and pick up a first down. It's going to happen. I'm sure Lions fans will handle it very rationally when, we're not getting a lot of pressure on him, but that's what he does. That's what Lamar Jackson is special at, is when you think you have pressure on him, when you think you got him wrapped up, when you think he doesn't know you're coming, he makes one little step, rolls out, plenty of grass in front of him. He's just so escapable. He's one of the hardest players to tackle. He's going to get his plays. He's going to make his plays. It's just we kind of really have to be timely about what we're doing. So I think a lot of people that I've seen in some other chats are asking, What about a QB spy? Do you think a QB spy is something that Kelvin Shepard could be looking at doing for Lamar Jackson this week?
I'm gonna say no. I think you got to account for him, but I think that having a guy that's athletic enough to just spy him, because when you got a QB spy, you need somebody athletic enough to match the movement of his. And I don't know that we have that. It's definitely not Jack Campbell who's going to be playing in the middle of the defense, because that typically that's where it starts. So if you had somebody like Fred Warner, maybe you can get us a little bit spy action going. But I think that we can have situational spies, but I don't think that we can come out with a game plan and we just say, hey, listen, we're going to lock up man to man, or we're going to play some zone stuff, and then you, my friend, are going to spy the quarterback. I don't know that a linebacker that we have that's athletic enough, and I think that the only one that can even get into the conversation is Grant Stewart. But I don't think that he's going to be on the field enough for enough snaps to just say, hey, listen, you're going to be the spy of Lamar Jackson. So for those reasons, I don't think that we can just consistently run a QB spy. Now, if we get into third long situations, maybe you give an outlet spy to where either side linebacker know that they're going to have spy responsibilities if he starts to escape that side, or maybe Grant Stewart's speedy enough to do it in moments. That's about the best I got for it.
There's one name I thought I tried to lead you into, Will, and I'm with you. I don't think we have a linebacker on this team that's going to be able to spy Lamar Jackson successfully. It's not going to be Jack Stewart, maybe. It's not going to be Alex Anzalone. What about a guy like Brian Branch? He's probably our most athletic defender, and I know he's not a linebacker. Is there something we can do where maybe we bring in another safety, or maybe like a three safety type play, or maybe a formation, or maybe he's like a hybrid linebacker for a down or two on like a 3rd and 8? Because Brian Branch is the only person I think that has the athleticism that's close enough to Lamar Jackson for a spy. Now, he doesn't have the size, he doesn't have the speed, but Brian Branch is a great tackler. He's great at angles, he's athletic. He's probably the only guy I can think about, but he's not a linebacker. You think that there's a package we could use for him in that situation?
Maybe you could use it situationally, but I just hate the idea of taking his football play away instinctually. Him just being out there covering, roaming around the middle of the field, making plays. I think that if you give him a responsibility to have to spar, definitely, I don't know.
Maybe. Hey, we can do that too.
Hey, he sparring him. He putting hands on him. But if you give him the responsibility of spying Lamar Jackson, I think that takes away from his ability to be able to roam, get those forced fumbles and interceptions. So, yeah, for those reasons, I wouldn't necessarily say that I would expect that it would be something that happen often, but maybe in a moment, I think he could definitely get the job done.
The reason I ask is because I remember earlier in the week, Kelvin Shepard said that he's losing sleep over trying to contain Lamar Jackson or trying to game plan for him. So if we're trying to think outside the box, I'm sure Shep's probably thought of everything times a million compared to you and me. Just an idea. Maybe it's something we see, maybe we don't. But when I just look at athleticism, anyone who's close to Lamar Jackson on our defense is probably Brian Branch. Where do you think the Lions have the biggest advantage at in this game, Will?
Honestly, I think it's putting pressure up the middle. Like their interior offensive line to me is their weakest part of their offensive line. I love Talik and what he's been doing. DJ Reader, obviously, Roy Lopez, I also like. But when I talk about doing stunts with guys like Al Qadim Muhammad and Aiden Hutchinson, I think that they're more than athletic enough to be able to do stuff like that. I like uh Derek Barnes at that Sam like linebacker position also doing some things. So for those reasons, I think that we create a pass rush by playing stunt games or getting pressure up the middle and then just trying to make him make throws from the pocket. Now, when you're getting that pressure up the middle, you don't let him escape that pocket and you live with him making a throw from the pocket. So to me, just capitalizing on that interior, that offensive line, keeping Lamar in that pocket and making him make throws, which I'm not here to disrespect him. I think that he's capable of making throws from the pocket. I just would rather him make throws from the pocket than escape the pocket, use his feet, or throw it down the field then when things are breaking down. So for those reasons, I say, hey, listen, a guy like this, an MVP candidate, a guy that can absolutely just exploit you when he gets outside of the pocket, make him make plays from inside of that pocket, make him deal with pressure in his face when he's making those plays. And if he does, you tip your cap and you say good job. That's where I'm at, Steve. He's an MVP candidate always for a reason, but I don't see a lot of highlights of Lamar Jackson just threading the needle from the pocket. We got to force him to play from there, make him make all of the throws, and then if he does it, so be it. Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. I don't know that I think that their offensive line and the interior is weak. They got Tyler Linderbaum, who's one of the best centers in the NFL, so
Mm.
he's going to have his hands full. But I feel like the Lions' strength, or where we have an advantage, is on our offense. You can't just game plan for one guy. You can't. Like, we could try to game plan for Lamar. He's a nuclear weapon, but we have a bunch of nice weapons on our team. We have a two-headed monster with running backs. We have a nice tight end. We have two or three wide receivers are going to be fantastic. We have Jared Goff. Our offensive line, still some questions. Looked great last week. Let's see if that trend continues where we're protecting Goff and open up stuff in the run game. But I think if you want to sit down and you're a defensive coordinator for the Ravens, how do you game plan for the Lions? I think what you have to do is probably try to attack our interior offensive line somehow and see if their questions have been answered from that Green Bay game. On the road again, is the communication still going to be a problem? It was fixed last week. You're at home. Bears, don't know exactly about them. I know they're blitzing the Cowboys right now, but I think that's where the Lions have a strength is you can't just stop JMO. You can't just stop St. Brown. You can't just stop Sam Laporta. You can't just stop our running backs. Like I feel like their defensive coordinators probably losing a lot of sleep this week too, especially with a lot of stuff we put on film last week. We just track meet, just running up and down the field, scoring points at will. So they got a lot to study. We have a lot to study. They might have the best player on the team or on the field, but we got a bunch of guys. We can beat you 1,000 different ways. So I'm looking forward to seeing our offense. And they're a little banged up too. I think the key match is going to be Jared Goff versus Kyle Hamilton. They have a great safety on their defense. I can't overlook that either. He's a phenomenal safety. So he can only cover one guy, though. He's only one man. So pick your poison. Which way do you want to get beat? You want to get beat with Amon-Ra St. Brown catching 14 passes, or do you want J-Mo getting loose for 5 catches, 200 yards, and 3 touchdowns? Like there's so many different ways we could go.
Yeah, I will say as well, Steve. Malachi Starks he's a nice young safety too that they got to go along with Kyle Hamilton, the athletic freak. He was somebody that got I believe was looked at by the Detroit Lions and kind of late in the game. They made a push where we were thinking like maybe is he gonna be that guy that we bring in, and maybe we're not extending somebody, or maybe BB is going to like a nickel type rover position or what there was some things talked about. So I got to tip my hat to Malachi Starks too, man. He's going to be a heck of a problem out there on the back end. They're going to be competing for number 2 best safety duo in the NFL.
I like that. And Roquan Smith, he's an all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber linebacker. So they still got some dudes, even though they're banged up. They still got some dudes on their team. So we got some dudes. They got some dudes. Let's see who just plays better football on Monday night. Where else you want to go, Will?
Sticking with that offense, Steve. You continue to keep on mentioning that Lamar Jackson is probably the best player on that football field. And I'm not gonna argue with that, but the bottom line is, while they have won, I think we have number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. You know what I mean? And
maybe 7 and 8 and 9.
Maybe 7, 8, and 9. So I got to tip my hand to that offense, man. And I need those guys to show up. But Steve, I'm looking at this football game as a benchmark of what the rest of the season looks like, because while this offense or this defense isn't the same as the Green Bay Packers defense, it's similar to me. And it's definitely the same caliber of defense. So I'm looking to see, how does this offense respond to a elite caliber defense coming to town? And like we said, we know they don't have Metabuke and Calvinoy. I get it, but they're still going to be a tough, gritty defense playing at home, ready to just give us fits and problems. So I want to see this offense really stamp itself as, hey, we've arrived. Week 1, we're still trying to figure some things out. What you saw in week 2, this is who we are. Steve, we talked about the coordinators and their press conferences after week 1. I asked some questions. I said, hey, Shep didn't look like the normal coach Shep. He looked a little bit more assertive. He looked a little bit more irritated. I wonder how guys are going to respond to that. We got our answer. Guys played inspired. They played inspired football. Offensive coordinator went to the podium. We said, hey, he looked uncomfortable. He didn't really look like himself either. Guys showed up and they responded. So was it a fluke? Was it a 1 week thing? Or are we the real deal and ready for any team now in the NFL? Because as I said, Steve, the Green Bay Packers are going to get figured out. They're not just gonna have a whole season of just.
I think the Browns figured them out earlier.
That's what I was just about to say. So, like, listen, they lost 13-10 to the Browns, and that's not to say that they won't be back. The Browns are a tough team, and we said it here, Steve. You said it, and I've said it. The Browns are going to be a tougher out than people give them credit for. But at the end of the day, every team across the NFL is going to be game planned for, prepared for. There's going to be weaknesses found. There's going to be adjustments made. And it's going to be who makes the better adjustments as we get through a long season. Let's see what the Detroit Lions have adjusted. Let's see if week 1 was a fluke. Let's see if this offense is still what we think it is, because I think we will see that this Sunday or this Monday.
Yeah, I think this is a measuring stick game. Like, the Baltimore Ravens are one of the best teams in the AFC, if not the NFL. If I had to do a power ranking off the top of my head, Baltimore would be a top 5 team in the whole NFL. So where do you want to rank them in the AFC? They're for sure top 3. I mean, I like the Chargers, and then the Bills, and then maybe the Baltimore Ravens. Like, they're right there. They're top 2, top 3, depending on however you want to look at it. So this is a big game, road game. They're well coached. Harbaugh, we're familiar with the Harbaugh name. We know what they're all about. They want to run the football, play tough defense. Baltimore checks those boxes because they got a running back too, Derrick Henry. As soon as he retires, 5 years to the day after he retires, he's going right into the Hall of Fame. Like, he's a big, monstrous running back. Everyone keeps waiting for him to fall off. Everyone keeps thinking he's going to, have this drop off in production, but he just keeps churning along. Like, they don't make running backs 6'3", 250 pounds that run 4.4, Will. They're not just everyday people. If we can contain that as well, because if we can really take away their running game, I think that's where the Lions can thrive, because they have a very, very nice one punch. We have a 1-2 punch. They have a one punch, I'd say. Maybe 2 if you want to count Lamar, but we got to stop that first and foremost, in my opinion, too, defensively, because we can't let Derrick Henry go back to, in time 7 years ago and just start running loose on us.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think that we need to punish Lamar Jackson, too. Like, it's not just about getting to him. It's about throughout that game, knocking him down, getting hits on him. If he does run, punishing him. Just punish him. If he's running that read option, if he keeps it, punish him. Just continue to just chip away at him. Similar to what happens to Justin Fields oftentimes. When Justin Fields will come to town, he would first quarter, he looked amazing. Second quarter, he looked pretty good. Third quarter, he looked okay. Fourth quarter, he's dying out there. That's the type of football game that we need to see. We just need to get to Lamar and just disrupt him, hit him, just make him uncomfortable. So then when it comes to the second half and that fourth quarter, man, he's a little bit banged up and he's not the same guy that he was at the beginning of the football game.
I'm with you. It's going to be an ugly game. I feel like it's going to be a very, very physical game. So who you got for defensive player of the game for the Detroit Lions?
Defensive player of the game, Steve, I'm going to go with, and this is going to be probably a surprise to you. Steve, defensive player of the game, I'm going to go with none other than the Brian Branch. I think Brian Branch is going to force another fumble or get his hands on a football throughout this football game in a pivotal moment. And that's going to be the difference in this game. I'm not going to get into my score prediction, but I don't think that this is going to be a rout. Right? I think this is going to be a close football game. But I think in a pivotal moment when we need it the most, Brian Branch is going to show up and get his hands on the football one way or another. So a turnover for Brian Branch and defensive player of the game. Steve, who's your guy?
Unbelievable, William. There's only one right answer. And you hit it right on the head, William. It's Brian Branch. I also have the same guy. I'd love for him to get his hands on a football. I'd love another pick six, a scoop and score, whatever we could do. At the very least, though, I just see us using him. He's our Swiss Army knife on defense. He can play linebacker, corner, safety, nickel, outside corner. He can do a lot of different things. However, Shep thinks he's going to match up best. If it's guarding Mark Andrews, if it's guarding Rashad Bateman, their number 2 receiver. If it's coming into the box and trying to stop the run a little bit more, I just think he's going to be doing a lot of things. I could see him having a game with double-digit tackles. If he can punch 1 or 2 of those out, fantastic. Great news for the Detroit Lions. I think he's going to be everywhere on this field. A heat-seeking missile, most athletic player on our defense. I think he's going to have a monster game. I think 11 tackles, and I'll ride with you. I'll say 1 forced fumble. Hopefully that's recovered by us.
I like it.
Offense. Will, you want to go first? You want me to take this one so I don't steal your guy again?
You're not going to steal my guy.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. I'll let you go first, and I swear to you,
Mm.
I will be honest and tell you if you steal my guy, but you're not
Your,
stealing my guy. I guarantee
your word means nothing to me if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm going with Jared Goff this week. Listen, the Baltimore Ravens are missing their two best pass rushers. Okay, Metabuke, Kyle Van Noy, former Detroit Lion, didn't work out. There's not a better time for Jared Goff to have a monster game on Monday night. They still got a damn good defense. They got two good safeties. They still got some good defensive linemen. They still got some good linebackers. It's going to be a chess match. I'm going with the old veteran here, William, the guy who's been in a lot of big games. Jared Goff, St. Brown, they're going to find all those weaknesses in zone coverage. When they go man, I don't think they have a corner or a safety that can keep up with JMO. Nobody in the league can, I don't think. So I think we're just going to take whatever they give us. You want to play zone? We'll pick you apart with Sam Laporta and St. Brown. You want to play man? We'll pick you apart with St. Brown and Jameson Williams. We just have so many different ways we can beat you with them not being able. I'm not saying they can't rush the passer, but when you're missing your two best, I think that's advantage Detroit Lions. So if we're protecting Jared Goff, if all that stuff from week one is cleared up and this is the true answer on the road, all the communication stuff is fixed, just like it was last week against the Chicago Bears, I don't see a world where Jared Goff doesn't throw 4 touchdowns and 323 yards, Will. That's my prediction. 4 touchdowns, 323. I'll say he goes 24 of 32.
I dig it. I hope you're right.
Who'd you switch your guy to?
Oh, no switching needed, Steve. I knew you weren't going to pick my guy, but there's only one right answer. And oftentimes we say that, and it's not necessarily true, but today it is very accurate. Listen, Roquan is going to be very busy. He's going to be a very busy man. And you know what he's going to be busy doing? He's going to be busy for accounting for 2 of his most important defensive players up front missing in action. Can't find them anywhere. And you know what people are going to think that's going to be happening? They're going to think that we're just going to run the football, and you think that I'm going to pick David Montgomery or Jameer Gibbs, and I'm not. But nope. Craig Reynolds. No, I'm just joking. But but I will say that Roquan is going to be very busy. He's going to be a very busy man. And while he's busy, Sam Lagoda is going to be getting off. He's going to be getting off. He's going to be doing his thing. He's going to be flying around, making plays. Listen, I know we got a couple of safeties out there that are absolute dogs in Hamilton and Starks. They're dogs. But they're going to be trying to make sure. One's going to be making sure that they bracket Amon St. Brown. The other one's going to be making sure that J-Mo doesn't take the roof off of this thing and make this thing a route early. And while all of that is going on and Roquan's worrying about the run, Sam Lagoda is going to be feasting. 2 tutties, over 100 yards, 8 receptions. Sam Lagoda goes crazy in Baltimore while we got all of our Detroit Lions gear on, and we are just having a 3-1-3 party. Sam Lagoda, offensive MVP.
I want you to be right. Sam Laporta wants you to be right. Sam Laporta's family wants you to be right. Will Ford wants you to be right. My fantasy football team wants you to be right because we are dying out there. Yeah. Joe Burrow, I lost last week, and now CeeDee Lamb. Sam Laporta, you're my last hope. I need you to have a big game. So I'm 1,000% okay with that prediction. Well, and it kind of goes hand in hand with my Jared Goff. Maybe he's one throwing him 2 of those 4 touchdowns. So absolutely. My score prediction. I don't see the Lions hanging 50. I don't see us stopping the Baltimore Ravens a ton. I see a high-scoring game. I'm calling it 37-21. And here's the thing. When I looked at this game, when the schedule first came out, I said, we're probably going to lose in Baltimore. They lost 2 of their best pass rushers. I think that is massive. If Baltimore had both of those guys, I would probably be saying, honestly, we might drop this one. And that's okay. Still a lot of football left in the season. But I feel like the injuries are significant injuries, not just their defensive players. They're some of their gadget guys too. Isaiah Likely, matchup guy in the red zone. I think that's something that could potentially hurt them. So if this was a healthy Ravens team, I think the Lions might lose this one. But we're on the right side of the injury report on this one, and I think we match up well in a lot of other areas other than trying to contain Lamar Jackson. 31-27, Detroit Lions will.
Steve. Listen, I respect it. I really do. And please, Detroit Lions fans, do not get upset with me. I try to be a realist. I try not to be a slappy. So and maybe picking against your team is sacrilegious or whatever. But
Don't you do
I
this.
don't think that it's gonna be a lot of times when you think teams are gonna just light it up, the score isn't crazy. So I'm gonna say 21 points. I'm gonna say 21. We'll probably be looking at about 21 to 24, right? 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Lions down, right? Lions down, needing a big moment from our team. And then we absolutely get it, and we win this game 28-24. Detroit Lions victory. Are you nuts, Steve? Are you
Jameson Williams reverse for a touchdown? Call it, Will.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. It's gonna be Lagoda finishing this thing off. Like it just goes. It goes with the player of the game. But listen, fourth quarter, we're down 21-24. Baltimore's rocking. Kingston is just throwing up that Lamar Jackson jersey in my face, just going absolutely bananas. Yeah, the fans are probably patting him on the back, saying he's the only one in our house that got it right. Only for me to just bathe in the tears of Baltimore Ravens fans on my way out of that place. 28-24. It gets done on that last drive. They get a shot to do it, but we stop them, and it's just pandemonium for every Detroit Lions fan in that building. I'm sure that we roll deep when we go to these away games, so I'm sure that I will have a lot of friendly faces there. You heard it here. It's pretty much. I'm gonna do everything but Joe Namath this thing. If I had my fur coat on, I would. 28-24. Detroit Lions victory. Singing the fight song on my way out the door. Forward down the field, baby.
There's only one way I can let this game end, William. There's only one way. That's with Kingston tears. I need Kingston tears on Monday night. Okay? And you can tell him if he's willing to make a bet, an ice cream bet, loser buys ice cream. You throw that at him and see if he's willing. He's gonna have to, but he's gonna have to tap into that piggy bank because I like fancy ice cream. Okay, I don't want it coming out of your pockets. I want it coming out of his pockets first and foremost. All right. I don't care how they win. Just get the win, Will. 37-21, 27-24, 3-0, 3-2. I don't give a shit. Just win this football game, okay?
I like it.
Anything else for tonight?
No, that's it, man. I'm excited. And yeah, we got to wrap this thing up because Mama's ready to roll.
I got one more thing. I promised it at the beginning of the show.
Oh, yeah.
An opportunity to win a $100 gift card to Rally House. Everyone has a chance. We're not spinning a wheel. We're not playing any trivia. Whoever watches this show and comments has a chance to win. It's not a loaded deck. All you have to do is, and you have to do these 3 exact things, not 2 out of 3, not 1 out of 3, not 0 for 3. You have to go 3 for 3. You have to guess or predict in the comments the first touchdown score of the game, the last touchdown score of the game, and the exact score of the game. You have to get all 3. Now, if you are not familiar with betting, a touchdown score is the player who possesses the ball in the end zone. So if you guess Lamar Jackson, you're guessing Lamar Jackson has a rushing touchdown, not a passing touchdown. So I just want to be clear on the rules. If you're familiar with that, first touchdown score, last touchdown score, final score of the game. It doesn't have to be Lions. You can say Lamar Jackson first touchdown, Lamar Jackson last touchdown, and this is the score. If there's multiple people who win, we will have to do the wheel. If there's multiple people who have all 3 of those right, we will have to do the wheel. But I don't foresee that. It's tough. It's tricky. Leave it in the comments. $100 gift card on the line. I'll ship that to you Tuesday if you guess it. So leave some comments. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.